Hey Leeds, how are you all? Keeping well I hope, and looking after each other. Sam Fish is the director of Rolling Social Events. She is the co-founder of Leeds Rum Festival and Leeds Gin Fair. Sam tells me all about her home events for those struggling to get out and about. We spoke not long before the easing of lockdown began, and it's a great conversation. Have a listen. For the Corona Bloody Virus Extraordinary series of Light on Leeds, I have remotely connected with me today Sam Fish. Hello, Sam.
Hello.
And you're the director of Rolling Social Events.
That's right, yeah.
And how long have you been doing that?
We just launched Rolling Social actually this year, but we've been doing events since kind of 2016, so it's kind of been a bit of a slow process, but finally we're official.
Brilliant. And what kind of things do you organise?
So it's usually, at the minute, it's a lot of drinks-led events. So it started with Leeds Rum Festival, which started in 2016, which was kind of a bit of a labour of love, really.
Yeah.
For myself, because I was working with a rum brand at the time. And then it moved on to us kind of looking at other drinks that we could focus on. So we introduced the Leeds Gin Fair, which the first one of that was 2019. And we're kind of looking at more food and drink-led events moving forward, as much as obviously social distancing will allow us, but we're hoping to do more food and drink-related events in the future.
Yeah. And has that been quite difficult, the whole sort of lockdown and all the rules changing and things? Has that made things difficult for you, or have you managed to sort of think outside the box?
We've definitely had to adapt. I very much feel like the people that do adapt during this time will be the people that will benefit the most when hopefully we start to come out of it relatively soon. So yeah, we've had to adapt really. Originally we were supposed to have the Leeds Gin Picnic, which would have been our first huge event. It was supposed to be at Tetley in May.
Oh, that would have been amazing.
Yeah, we had to cancel it, which is a real shame. And that was kind of the first time we'd gone down more of a kind of, even though it's called Gin Picnic, it was quite a family-friendly sort of affair with a kind of some kids entertainment, lots of street food, lots of gin stalls, some really cool like cocktail activations and bits and pieces like that. But obviously when it got to April time, we realised it wasn't going to happen, so we had to put a pin in the Gin Picnic, and we had to start thinking about other things that we could do throughout this year. So we've introduced an event called Sip Along, which is an online event.
Yeah.
And it's for people to join in via Zoom, and they basically get a little pack delivered to their house with samples in, and we invite a guest speaker to come along and talk about those samples, so like an expert in the field. And we had our first one last week and it was great. We had a really brilliant crowd.
Excellent.
Yeah, it was really lovely.
So the idea is that people can join along at home, and whilst the expert's talking about the drinks, they can join in.
Yeah, exactly that. So we had one of the last ones we've done was Paul from Plantation Rums joined us, and he talked about the range, and he kind of talked about his own experiences travelling the world with an amazing job, and did a really great job, and everyone kind of had a drink together. And it was really lovely because actually after the session had finished, we left the room open for the people who'd attended to just have a chat amongst themselves, and they kind of everyone sat around for like people that didn't even know each other for an hour after the session, just chatted. And I was like, that's great, because it's kind of the whole point of our events is to create a space for people to be social.
Yes, you'd obviously totally achieved that.
Yeah, which was lovely. So it was kind of nice to know. I knew a few people that were on the session, so I'd come away from it, but people were still having a drink together. So it was lovely.
And so do you think there's more scope for other things like that in the future?
Yeah, so we've got a few other events coming up with Sip Along, but we're also going to try and go into the world of wine through doing it, because obviously wine sales have gone through the roof. People having a drink at home, which is great, and we want to try and adapt what we do, which is usually with spirits, and take it into the wine world. So we've got some great producers that are interested in getting involved, including some of the producers who have some brilliant experts and masters of wine that are going to talk our attendees through their brilliant wines. So that'll be really exciting.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. Have you been able to sort of think about, I don't suppose you have really, because everything's so up in the air, but have you been able to think about rearranging your gin picnic?
Yeah, we're doing it at Kirk's Labby. I mean, Kirk's Labby is really close to where I live. I absolutely love Kirkstall. I love
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's fantastic. And Kirk's Abbey is like our back garden. So when we realised we could do an event there, I was like, this is brilliant.
Yeah.
So we got in touch with them and they were really keen to do it. And thankfully, the event organiser at Kirk's Abbey has let us move it into next year. So we're hoping, fingers crossed, that moving into 2021 we can kind of pick up where we left off, which will be great.
Yeah, let's hope so. So when you co-founded the Leeds Rum Festival, what was it that got you, what started the idea for the festival, and how come you were involved in that?
It started from, I was working with a rum brand called Eldorado at the time, as a kind of part-time job alongside working at Leeds Bar called Mojo. And I was working down in Birmingham at a rum festival down there. And they had this really great vibe, loads of really interesting people, loads of stalls. It was just a really brilliant day. I remember it now. And driving back from there with a friend of mine, and we were like, why hasn't Leeds got an equivalent? The hospitality in Leeds, scene in Leeds is booming. It's huge. We've got some incredible bars, some great bartenders, some really great operators. And it was like, well, why don't we have anything like this? So we kind of just decided amongst ourselves that we were going to give it a shot. And it was, I think it was 6 weeks from us having the conversation in the car to actually executing the event with like, I think 350 people at the first one.
That's amazing.
Super quick turnaround, yeah. But it was brilliant. It was just in the basement of the Corn Exchange. We've progressed since then, and we now take over the whole of the Corn Exchange on an evening, which is great. But yeah, that's kind of where it started, and I love it. It's my favourite day of the year. I absolutely love it.
I bet it must take an awful lot of organisation.
It does. Like, fortunately, we've partnered with some really amazing brands and some really great people who've been really supportive of us over the past few years. I've been working in hospitality since I was 20, so it's like 15 years now. So we've got some great contacts with people that are they love it because it's an independent event, and also people that come from outside of Leeds always love having a night out in Leeds because, why wouldn't you? And so we've got some really great kind of people to partner up with. So now we've kind of got a blueprint to a really great event which we can roll out each year. So it is tough when it gets, especially on the day, because we've got to get in and out of the Corn Exchange in a day, which is quite tough.
I bet, yeah.
But it's worth it. And the Corn Exchange is brilliant as well. Like Adam, who's like kind of manages the Corn Exchange, is really it's just super attentive and brilliant with us.
That's great. And so have you learned a lot about rum over your time organising this festival?
Yeah, I like to think so. Mojo, when I was there, is kind of, they've got the rum room upstairs, and rum kind of became just a natural thing to sort of lean towards. And then I've had a fantastic opportunity of being able to go to the Caribbean and actually see it being made.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I went to Cuba a few years ago, which was just absolutely mind-blowing.
I bet.
And that was such a great trip because it's so ingrained in the culture over there. So yeah, it kind of, actually seeing it and where it comes from obviously just sparks something in you, and it is definitely something that I love. So yeah, I think I'm quite knowledgeable on it now, but you can always learn more, can't you?
Yeah, you can, yeah. And so gin obviously is a huge big hitter, isn't it? It's just got more and more popular, it seems.
Yeah, it's massive. Like, every year I think that people are expecting gin to kind of start to slow down a bit, and it just gets bigger and bigger because they keep thinking of new ways to do it, and pink gins and fruit gins and tea gins, and I even saw a Jaffa gin the other day.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I think it's I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon, so it's been quite a good thing for us to get involved in. And my business partner is he's got a bar in Leeds City Centre as well called Headless, which is great, but they very much focus on gin, so it's kind of me coming from the rum angle and him sort of coming from the gin side, really, which is quite nice.
Do you think there's a huge sort of is there a big difference between the origin of gin and the origin of rum?
Yes, yeah, there is. It's kind of, the funny thing about booze, I suppose, just in general, is that it tends to have, whenever the human race has had like a waste product, with rum, for example, it's a waste product of molasses, which is the byproducts of making sugarcane, or sugar crystals even. Through the history of the human race having something going to waste, what we do is we make booze out of it, which is kind of weird. So it's the same with tequila. Gin's a little bit different. It's got a bit of a murky history, especially going through sort of the time of like the Black Plague and things like that. So it is slightly different, but basically it all comes from the same thing: is that humans just have this this want just to get drunk, which is great. I love that going through history. But yeah, they are quite different, obviously coming from different parts of the world. But the overriding feature is people just love getting drunk, which has kind of stayed with us very long.
So in your 12 years at Mojo, you must have learned quite a lot about the history of booze and the different types of rum.
Yes, very much. I mean, Mojo was a huge part of my life. I started when I was like 20, I think I was 22 when I started working there. So I kind of grew up with it, really. And it went from, when I started there was a Mojo in Leeds and one in Manchester, and now they've got like five different sites. So they're doing incredibly well. I mean, yeah, there's such great opportunities through working in the bar trade. Like I say, I've been really lucky to go to some incredible places. Like Cuba was obviously one of them. I went to Mexico. I've been to Poland. I've been to Moscow. Like all of this is through work.
Yeah,
which is amazing. And Mojo really provided that. It's quite a high-profile cocktail bar in the bar world, really, and they really provided a good sort of stepping stone for me, which was great. And through that, you just get to see so much. I mean, Mexico is hands down the best place I've ever been. I loved it.
Yeah, I'm so jealous. I'd love to. I mean, the two places that you've mentioned are the two places that are next on my list, Cuba and Mexico. Yeah.
I noticed your little kind of thing as a Frida Kahlo, isn't it, as well? Like, we got to go to the Blue House in Mexico.
Oh, did you go? I would absolutely adore to see it. Is it as amazing as I imagine it would be?
It was just incredible. I mean, we got to go off the beaten track like massively, because where tequila's made is in a place called Tequila.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, and Tequila town in Arandas is like, you have to fly to Guadalajara, and it's way out. It's like a 3-hour drive from Guadalajara. And we were lucky enough to come back through Mexico City. So like the day we were leaving, they were like, if you want to get up in the morning and go to the Blue House, you've got to get up at 7 o'clock and go. But there was a few of us that wanted to do it, and it really was, yeah, it was great. It's just, she's incredible.
She really is, yeah. She's definitely one of my heroes.
Yeah.
So now you're also, on top of everything else that you do, you're also head of food and beverage at the Tetley, is that right?
Yeah, so I've got a little boy, he's 3 now, and being at Mojo, as great as it was kind of very late night, a lot of travelling, going from like Liverpool to Nottingham to Harrogate. It's getting a bit much as a new mum, so I was looking for something else, and this amazing job at the Tetley came up. Obviously, it's just a wonderful Leeds institution.
It really is, yeah.
Yeah, and then they've transformed it into this beautiful contemporary art gallery. It was a really great opportunity. So yeah, I'm currently at the Tetley and loving it as well. It's a great place to work. Obviously, closed at the moment with everything that's going on, but we'll be back soon.
Yeah, let's hope so. Keeping my fingers crossed for all of the places in Leeds.
Yeah.
Well, in the country, really. So you told me a little bit about you are looking at running some more home events for people who perhaps might be struggling to get out and about.
Yeah, so we've having started the sip-along events, which have been going really well. I think originally when we started doing it, we thought it might last as long as lockdown lasts, but actually seeing the demographic of people and the great guests that we've had coming along to the events, it's not just people that are affected by lockdown necessarily, but maybe people that have got young children, or maybe people that struggle to get out anyway.
Yeah.
Maybe people that just don't want to go into town, because let's face it, on a weekend it can be a bit stressful.
Yeah.
So we just kind of thought, this isn't something that's just going to last through lockdown. Actually, the world has it's changed, and will have changed for quite a while. So we're going to keep plodding on with them. Like I said, we really want to. My business partner used to work at a great little bar called Epinay.
Oh yeah.
Centre, like a champagne bar. He's got a fantastic knowledge of wine. and he's super keen to do some more wine-led events. So we're actually hooking up with the team at Latitude Wines, just down the call, who are putting together some wine tastings, and they've got some incredible contacts with some brilliant producers, like some really like niche kind of producers, and that hopefully we'll be able to kind of deliver these cool little packs. So it'd be like you'd get 6 kind of small glasses of wine kind of thing in a pack, and maybe we're thinking about pairing them with like cheeses and bits and pieces, so it's like a little wine tasting, but you don't even have to just open your laptop kind of thing.
That sounds fantastic. And yeah, like you say, I think things are changing so much, and even, you know, when they're talking about opening up pubs and things, I think there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be, I mean, there's some people who just won't be able to wait, I imagine, but there's going to be other people who are going to be a little bit reluctant about getting out and about just yet.
I think so. I mean, I must admit I am, and I work in hospitality, and I know how carefully the operators are really planning their comeback. But I know that I'd be cautious. I mean, I don't, you know, I'm young and healthy, and I'd like to think I wouldn't necessarily be badly affected by coronavirus, but, you know, we've got parents that are a bit older and completely understand the anxieties. But I know if I can offer any reassurance on a platform like this, I know that there's some really great operators out there doing really great and safe, planning safely how people can come back into town, which is good. Yeah,
and that's really reassuring to hear, actually. How have you coped with yourself personally and with your business during lockdown? How's it been for you?
I think it's been a little bit up and down, actually. At first, my other half works in hospitality as well, and kind of, I don't like referring to it as normal life, but pre-coronavirus, we were pretty much ships in the night, really, because I was kind of going off during the day, and he'd go off and do his thing at night. So at first it was like, we're together all the time as a family, this is wonderful. And I think it was like that for like a good sort of 5-6 weeks, but now it's kind of taken its toll a little bit. The caffeine is sort of setting in. And like I say, I mean, my anxiety is about, you know, I saw how busy town was this week whenever the shops started to reopen up and stuff. And that's just not something that I'm personally going to be wishing to go and do. So I think it's trying to keep that. I need a bit of variety, and I'm a very sociable person. So just what I need to start doing now is tapping into seeing pals in gardens and doing things that are safe to do, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
Down.
Yeah, and just widening your circle a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know exactly how you feel. I mean, I thought it was great for the first. I mean, I really enjoy working from home and having time to reflect. But yeah, I'm sick of hearing my own brain now. Keep telling myself to shut up.
Yeah, I was working in the kitchen for the first few weeks, and it was freezing, and I was just like, this is awful. But it was kind of, it was just nice to have some family time. And my son is, you know, he's absolutely over the moon that we're just both here all the time.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
It's the best thing ever.
Oh, yeah, that's nice. Have you always lived in Leeds, Sam?
Yes, I was born in Bradford, but kind of lived in Leeds in my late teens, like kind of full time. So I've moved around a bit between sort of Hyde Park, Headingley, Horsforth, and now we're in Kirkstall. So yeah, I love it. I mean, it feels like home to me. There's so much that I love about Leeds, and like I said, we moved to Kirkstall just because the house that we're in, we love the house. It wasn't necessarily about the area, but actually Kirkstall it's absolutely brilliant. I love everything about it. It's got everything you need, and I'm very much a city bird, so I like that we're just kind of 10 minutes out of town as well.
Yeah, that's always handy. Well, I know you just said that you love loads of things about Leeds, but can I press you just to tell me about a few of them? Like what you think is the greatest thing about the city?
What I love about Leeds the most, it sounds daft, but if I'm in the city centre, I'm always looking up because like the buildings are so beautiful.
Yeah.
I think it's a really pretty city, so I really like walking around Leeds. I love that the city centre is quite small, and I like that within sort of 20 minutes you can be in these incredible green spaces. Like through lockdown, we've found so many new places to go for a walk. We've got a little dog as well, so we've been walking up to Beckett Park and through the woods and found all these new places to go where you can be out for a good couple of hours, sort of in the green, 5 minutes away from Kirkstall, which seems bizarre. But yeah, it's that I like how small the city centre is. That's kind of the thing that I really love about Leeds, is it's a really small city centre with these incredible kind of suburbs to it.
Yeah, I think so too. Can you tell me something that you think is not so great about Leeds?
I find that quite a difficult question, actually, because I genuinely love this city, but I think sometimes it can be quite, as I've got a bit older, I think I've learnt to leave the weekend nights, sort of. That's not going out on a weekend night in the centre of town is not for me anymore.
No.
And that's less Leeds' fault and more me getting a bit old and needing a quiet place to have a drink. But that's probably about it, really. Like, I do genuinely enjoy it. I adore the city.
Yeah, me too, obviously.
Yeah.
And could you, if somebody had been a long-term resident of Leeds, would you be able to tell them about something that they might never have heard of that you'd consider to be a hidden gem?
Yeah, I was thinking about this a little bit the other day, actually, and there was a few things that were kind of cropping up. I suppose for me it's always going to be in food and drink, because that's what I do, so it's always the kind of really amazing little bar on North Street called Wax Bar.
Oh yeah.
Right, it's just so much fun, and they play everything on vinyl on a weekend, and they've just got a really great, they're really welcoming and just lovely people that work there, and great drinks, great music, which is just so far up my street. And then I do love a roast, so I must say, like, my favourite place to go for a roast is called the Brunswick, which is a really tiny little place just by the Reliance again.
Oh yeah.
And they do the most banging Sunday roast, so it's kind of, they're my two sort of, if they're like little independent places that you could go for some great food and drink, that's kind of where I'd go.
Excellent. And what will you be doing with the rest of your day today, Sam?
Well, actually, today we've got another sip-along event tonight, so I'll be drinking whiskey. That's what I'll be doing tonight. So I'll be putting my son to bed, and then at 7:30 we'll be clocking in with Carl Beach, who's the brand ambassador for McMyra Swedish Whiskies, and he's going to go through their range with us. So we've got 6 whiskies to try, which I'm really excited about, because I've not tried them all yet.
Excellent.
Do that and maybe have a beer as well.
Yeah. Sounds like a really good evening. Well, thank you so much for coming along and talking to me. I wish you the best of luck with everything that you're doing, and hopefully I'll get along to an event at some point in the future.
Oh, that'd be great. Thank you so much for having me. It's been really lovely to speak to you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
It was great to connect with Sam and to hear how she thinks food and drink vendors across the city are working hard to keep us all safe. The featured song this week is gleefully raucous. It's called The Ballad of Jenny Horne, and it's by Chichilla Death Cult. Enjoy!
Hillside, on a plateau by the lake, stood a crooked house with crooked doors, broke windows and a rusty gate. Inside lived an old lady by the name of Jenny Horne, and a daughter with a broken hand. That pair were tested and torn. Well, the villagers told their children, don't you ever go to that place, for an evil lurks inside will put the devil to disgrace. And the children knew, they'd been told curiosity killed their cats, but they couldn't resist trying with a temptation like that. So taking cover underneath the moonlight, they went up to the hillside, they were looking for a spear. But when they got to the top, she just gave them milk and cookies. Showed them how to society don't care. story, and they took it as a tale of woe. Yeah, they needed tight conformity to make one stop and go. So they gathered in the village hall with the pitchforks in their hands. A righteous and indignant herd set out to cleanse the land. Yeah, they marched up on the hillside, dragged Jenny out by her hair. Judge, jury, executioner, they tried her then and there. They tore her house down, built a fire and tied her to the stake. Picked up burning child remains and tossed her in the